On this day in 1972, a state of emergency was called in Britain. Oh my god, why? What happened? Well, here's the hot goss. So, in the 1970s, 3/4 of Britain's electricity came from coal power. Just over 250,000 people worked in the 289 British pits mining coal. Whole towns and communities and cultures existed around the coal pits, generations of family proudly working the mines. Unfortunately, these miners were seen as unskilled workers, and their wages reflected this. While the average weekly full-time wage at this time was £28.11, a coal miner was being paid just £23.50. And that's quite a lot less for a job that's quite skilled, and we're still seeing this kind of thing happening today with people in care work, for example. So after 3 months of negotiating for better pay with the Conservative government failed, the National Union of Miners called a strike on the 9th of January 1972. They picketed their own places of work as well as carrying out flying pickets, which sounds amazing, but it just means travelling to other mines and protesting there. It's actually illegal to do that now. Students helped out by housing miners who were away from home doing these pickets, and they'd sometimes join them on the picket line as well. The Trades Union Congress advised transport unions not to cross the picket lines, meaning that even if coal was mined, the lorry drivers were not moving it. Within 2 days of the strikes beginning, 17 schools in Shropshire had to close as they couldn't heat the building. Power cuts were frequent. By the 5th of February, power shortages meant that factories were having to lay off workers. A headline in the Times on the 16th of February 1972 said that 1.2 million people had to be laid off due to the strikes. It was a really big deal. Prime Minister Ted Heath announced the state of emergency on the 9th of February 1972 as the prospect of having to reduce power in people's homes was becoming a reality. 10 days later, on the 19th of February, union leaders and the government agreed on a £95 million pay package. The miners voted to return to work on the 26th of February 1972, with the strike officially ending on the 28th of February, and everyone was happy and everything was fine forever. Until November 1973 when it all happened again, and this time they had to have what was called a 3-day week. This was where commercial properties could only use power for 3 consecutive days a week. Television had to stop broadcasting at 10:30 p.m, and worst of all, the pubs were closed. It lasted for 3 months from January to March 1974. Anyway, this strike ended with a pay increase, the Conservatives being voted out, and a Labour government. So all in all, not a bad job, and well, let's forget about the 80s, shall we? Anyway, thank you for watching. Why not subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.